All right. Because I care about you guys so much, I am totally willing to make a singing fool out of myself, and I do hope it helps. I came up with this, I thought it was catchy, and so I ran with it. We are going to do What Do You Do with Electrons in Cell Respiration to the tune of What Do You Do with a Drunken Sailor. Instead of sailor, we're dealing with electrons. All right. What do we do with electrons from food? What do we do with electrons from food? What do we do with electrons from food? They go on N80 plus, N80 plus, N80 plus, N80 plus to make NADH. Where do they go with the NADH? Where do they go with the NADH? Where do they go with the NADH? They go to the ETC. ETC, 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 they go to the ETC. What do they do with the ETC? Oh, what do they do with the ETC? Oh, what do they do with the ETC? They help to pump them protons, 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 pump those protons. What do you do with a pumped out proton? What do you do with a pumped out protons? What do you do with those pumped out protons? They'll flow through ATP synthase, ATP synthase, ATP synthase, ATP synthase to make ATP. Where do electrons go in the end? Where do electrons go in the end? Where do electrons go in the end? They go on to oxygen, 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 oxygen. They go on to oxygen. And hopefully you guys found that at least amusing, if not a bit helpful. Again, how they flow, and they're being ripped off of the food molecules. They go on to NAD plus to make an NADH, which delivers them again to the electron transport chain, which uses those energized electrons to pump those H pluses into the intermembrane space to build up that gradient, that very powerful gradient. Trust me, I talk about it tons in the lecture. And we use that powerful, charged, acidic chemical gradient to drive the ATP synthase and make ATP. And at the very end, from the electron transport chain itself, the electrons flow down onto oxygen, and they're going to be balanced out because they're very negative with the H pluses. You combine all that, the electrons, oxygen, and H plus together to make H2O. So hopefully you guys find that at least amusing, if not helpful. This is how I think you should be able to tell this part of the story. I know it doesn't cover like the details of glycolysis or Krebs cycle. Those are additional things you kind of have to know where the NADH comes from. But I think this will help you at least follow things into the ETC. All right, take care.